and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is Joey Stephen here from the Pollensis Studios in beautiful Cambridge, Ontario. This video is specifically for Canadian residents who are applying for the Hello Canada program and what the post-registration, that means once you start your process of immigration services, what happens. Okay, this 10-minute video is a must hear for Canadian temporary residents who plan to sign up for the Hello Canada program offered by two Canadian corporations in partnership. Pollensis Limited is a Canadian immigration firm, and the Student Herald is a Canadian recruitment firm. Immigration is a life-changing experience, and so does partnering with immigration firms who can legitimately represent you with employers and the Canadian government. This video is exclusively for Canadian temporary residents and deals with what to do after you sign up for the Hello Canada Immigration Preparedness Program with Pollensis. If you are a student, you will not be ready for immigration. Okay, and immigration preparedness could begin at a later point after you start your job with a designated employer, because you do not have the experience, you may not have your documents ready. So immigration services start pretty much a little after you join with a designated employer. You should pay your resume critiquing fees and get your immigration ready resume in the beginning. Resume critiquing could take up to 10 days sometimes. Okay, so keep that in mind. Once resume critiquing begins, you will be called by the critique from within Canada, and you will discuss with him or her your job responsibilities, your past job responsibilities, and we will come up with a immigration ready resume which will not contradict your PR application, job titles and job description. Right? If you just got out of school or college, you should not have very much to critique, because it would mostly cover only part-time jobs, which is not going to help for immigration. Please keep in mind, your resume critiquing does not mean your resume is designed and provided. We are not talking about resume designing, but critiquing a resume to meet immigration requirements. Your job title and your job description must match for immigration. And if the employer shares your resume with the immigration department for whatever reason, it should be a very sound resume which matched with NOC codes and job responsibilities. Both these tasks are immigration related. Now, you can use your resume with all Canadian employers because they can clearly understand your job responsibilities, and if they pass it on to the immigration department at some point for whatever reason, it may not impact you. The fees charged is for dual critiquing, one before applying for Canadian jobs and the other before submitting your PR file with the Canadian Immigration Department. Now, let's talk about complimentary service offered by to Pollensis clients. When you are a Pollensis client, when you have done your critiquing, we will use that resume to look for jobs. The Student Herald, which is a Canadian recruiter, will include your resume to promote it to their designated employers, because only designated employers can provide an offer letter leading to permanent residence. For RNIP, or the Regional Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot, let us convert the designated employer term title to only to any employer in the smaller town where the program is approved. Okay, so there is a little difference there. Because you already have a residency status in Canada, there is no need to have the 1 year related experience for applying for jobs under AIP and RNIP. The experience can be earned in the employment with the designated employer. The Student Herald is a Canadian recruiter, and when you have a critique resume and it is a Polinsys client, they will begin their job search and use your resume for jobs that match your interests. There are no guarantees that you will obtain a job in a particular city or a particular type of job, but you may be able to choose from a small variety of different types of jobs. Some Canadian temporary residents will be able to obtain jobs in a short time, while others may take longer. When an employer is interested in your resume and would like to screen you through an interview will be scheduled by the Student Herald. This interview must be taken in a professional way with appropriate clothing, like a suit or a shirt and tie, or just a business shirt, depending on the type of position which you have applied to. Please do not attend your interview with a t shirt or casual dressing. It may not look professional. A Student Herald representative from Canada may schedule a meeting with you to discuss the interview and the requirements if they have the time to do so, or they will send you an email. If your home does not have a suitable environment for the online meeting, please discuss it with your local Polinsys office about alternatives. Please keep in mind that it is not Polinsys' responsibility to find you a place to participate in a job interview, because recruitment is complimentary and we are not charging for that. The first interview will usually be conducted by the employer and the Student Herald representative. You can find the Student Herald representative in the meeting as well. If you attend the interview, one of these three things can happen. You may be rejected by the employer, and you're likely to know the result pretty quick, because rejections are responded pretty quickly, possibly in a couple of days. The second possibility is that you may be selected by the employer, and you are likely to know the result possibly in a week's time, sometimes earlier. Third possibility is sometimes the employer may want to screen you more and could schedule a second interview. If the employer conducts more than one interview, all interviews after the first interview will be with the employer and the applicant yourself. Okay, if you are not selected, that is the other possibility, then look forward for other jobs and opportunities which could come up after that. If you are selected, then you will be required to sign a letter of acceptance to join, and also at that time you will have to sign the Polinsys retainer for applying for permanent residence. Okay, now let us discuss what happens after you join the designated employer under the Atlantic Immigration Program. Go to work every day, on time, every time. Okay, do a good job and never let your employer down. Keep in mind your permanent residence is in their hands. You will have to obtain the 1 year relevant experience and qualify for the Atlantic Immigration Program. 6 months into your work, get in touch with Polinsys and start your immigration approaches. Okay, when you register with Polinsys prior, Polinsys will provide you with access to their online portal, and you will start uploading your documents and get yourself immigration ready before your 1 year experience arrives. Get your IELTS or CELPIP done. Get your credentials evaluation done. Overseas police clearance done, and all other documents and paperwork done. Please do not think it is very quick to get everything done pretty fast. Conservatively, it takes about 4 to 6 months, sometimes a little less, and sometimes a little more, for a Polinsys client to get all their documents immigration ready. Unless you are immigration ready, you cannot apply for permanent residence. That is on you, and you must prepare in advance. After your 1 year experience, please get in touch with your Student Herald coordinator, and we will approach your employer with for the immigration forms on job offer letter for permanent residents. The Student Herald and Polinsys only deals with reputable employers who would not ask you for any conditions for issuing the offer letter. If you encounter any challenges, you will have to notify the Student Herald immediately. We have not experienced any challenges with our clients, even though we have heard of others experiencing the same who are not our clients. We will then apply for permanent residence with all your documents, and it takes about 7 months to obtain your permanent residence. Once you obtain your permanent residence, we will prepare you for your Canadian citizenship application, which we do after 3 years based on the current regulations. We are aware that there are instances of Canadian work permits and visas sold for tens or thousands of dollars or even more, which are based on illegally buying a visa operated by some unscrupulous Canadian entities. These are against the Canadian law. Okay, and the Hello Canada program is not based on any type of guarantees. You pay us for the immigration work done, and the selection and processing is based on actual employers seeking out international workers based on your skills and qualifications. We do not charge for any employment related expenses, which is borne typically by the employer and handled by the Student Herald, and is complimentary for an applicant. After your temporary or permanent Canadian visas are based on the various immigration programs offered by the Canadian Immigration Department, and your selection is also based on the eligibility for such programs. So please keep that in mind before uh, you embark on this adventure. We thank you for reviewing this video. Immigration is a life-changing experience. So does partnering with immigration firms who can legitimately represent you with employers and the Canadian government. Please do not use this service if you are here to buy a visa. You are in the wrong place. We wish you the absolute best in your endeavor, and hopefully, with all our efforts, we can see you as a Canadian permanent resident soon. Okay, and thereafter a Canadian citizen, possibly. We hope to be part of your Canadian adventure, and we will endeavor to assist you in the best possible way we can. From all of us here in the Polinsys Studios in beautiful Cambridge, Ontario, adios and all the very best. Thank you.